Okay, well, the Friday night of the fifth day, the dark day of Hanukkah, we have a court filings, not just people's speculations or opinions or beliefs or tweets, that our current president of the United States had committed felonies prior to becoming president. And they're not indicting Trump. So he's being left unindicted. He's just being accused in the court filings with Cohen, and I don't think Manafort refers to Trump. It was Cohen's thing that does. But it makes it very clear that those felonies involve a fraudulent election. And Robert Mueller, I'm sorry, but you're being complicit as much as you think you're helping the American people by showing that, Trump needs to be impeached and indicted by Congress. That is only for a president of the United States during which time, as president, he commits a crime. This does not refer to crimes committed prior to. And so, in essence, Trump is the illegitimate president of the United States, and his presidency must be revoked. It does not require Congress to do that. This is a simple matter of taking it to court, indicting Trump, and stating the case that these were crimes committed prior to becoming elected, that the election was fraudulent. And nobody's going to listen to me, but this is the legal case. People have said, "Oh, Trump needs to be indicted," and we have a crisis already in that Congress is not doing anything. For 2 years, Congress has not done their job in pursuing an investigation and then pursuing with a vote for impeachment in the House, and taking that successful impeachment vote to the Senate for an indictment. We shouldn't have these problems that we're going through. This whole time, none of this should have happened. And just like with Whitaker's appointment, as lawyers are filing a lawsuit saying that all legal cases involving the Attorney General's office are no longer legitimate. And, Trump today is saying, "Oh, I'm going to put Barr on there and he's going to be Senate confirmed." It doesn't matter. The point is that Whitaker destroyed, or potentially would have destroyed, all legal cases involving the Attorney General, making them null and void, because he's not the legitimate Attorney General. And so, like Trump, all the actions that he's done are illegitimate. They're null and void. And people can take this to court, saying Trump is an illegitimate president. All of his acts, all of his executive orders, all of his tweets that have been interpreted as orders are all illegitimate and must be immediately canceled and reversed. And so this is a legal action that every Attorney General in the United States can now pursue. But is anybody going to listen? No. And so what Mueller did today you'd think was a great job, that he's protecting his investigation, and he's revealing to the people as best as he can. No. He's acknowledging that Trump is a legitimate president, even though he's outwardly claiming it's an illegitimate election, that it was perpetuated by fraud, cover-up, to deceive the American people. The 2016 presidential election will now forever have an asterisk by it. And so, unless we the people stand up and say, hey, don't go through impeachment, go through removal from office. And that the process only allows for, one, the American people riot, or two, the attorney generals in each of the United States band together and sue for removal of Trump as an illegitimate president. That any actions he makes is illegitimate and must be discarded. All of his former acts and executive orders and signings are illegitimate and must be overturned and reversed. And yes, that's a big mess. Why? Because Congress failed to do their job. Because the FBI didn't do their job. Trump has been tweeting criminal violations this whole time. And instead, they call it an ongoing investigation. Of course it's an ongoing investigation as long as Trump is president. It'll be an eternal investigation if Trump becomes Emperor of the United States. Lifetime appointment. Thus, Mueller gets to have job security for the rest of his life, but nothing gets done about it, because it's an ongoing investigation. And, with Comey thought he was doing the right thing by exposing that he was going to investigate Hillary Clinton, but said nothing about the Russian threats to our election and about Trump's criminal actions. He left those a secret and instead exposed Hillary, which of course aided and abetted in Trump getting elected. And yet Trump wants to throw Comey in jail. So, whatever. But we were all played for fools in the United States. Everybody is doing the wrong thing, hoping that that will correct the wrong thing. Two wrongs don't make a right. So, the election was a sham. We have an illegitimate president. He needs to be removed. And not just him. He takes Pence, his whole cabinet, everybody he's appointed in whatever field. That means his daughter and his son-in-law. Everybody that works under him now. All gone. They need to go. They're illegitimate. And that messes up our midterm elections because Trump and his influence interfered with the midterm elections. And so the midterms are now illegitimate. All of the congressional seats, whether in the House or in the Senate, the Republicans won more in the Senate, and Democrats obviously won more in the House. Both are illegitimate. We now have an illegitimate government. In fact, also, the two Supreme Court justices that Trump put in, illegitimate. All three branches of the federal government are illegitimate because Trump committed a crime to get in the presidency. Nobody understands the seriousness of this. You know, the left-wing media says, oh, well, we now have evidence that Trump is a criminal, and that's very serious. No, it goes beyond that. He became an illegitimate president. And nobody's going to do anything about it. Trump will be allowed to remain in office, continuing to destroy our nation for the next 2 years at least. Because Trump now knows they've got him for crimes, felonies. If he leaves office, they will immediately indict him. And as long as he's got at least the Senate under his control, he's free. Now, Lawrence O'Donnell seems to think, oh, well, the FBI can indict the president. Nobody is above the law. And yes, that's true. And if Trump was a legitimate president and Congress failed to do their job to go through impeachment and indictment, then it's up to the FBI to step in and say, okay, we have a serious crisis here. Congress is not following the Constitution to keep the president in check. That's what the FBI is for. They then take the matter to court, and it gets decided in the courts. So it's really simple. This isn't complicated, but they're putting on a show for us. They're dragging it out. And this is affecting everybody in this nation with the tariffs. I mean, the stock market was, what, 588? Negative 588. And so they're talking about it as, oh, we've almost canceled whatever out. You know, that has nothing to do with it. That's just the rich selling their stock so that they can come back next week or sometime in the future and buy their stock when it's low. That's how they make money. And Trump aided and abetted in that corruption in the economy with the tax bill that Orrin Hatch claimed as his own, but he did it under loyalty to Trump, who said, we want a tax bill. Trump signed off on it, but Orrin Hatch was the one who made it happen. Despite his emotional plea, I was born poor. It's all fraud, all lies, all deception. And all because we allowed party government to run our government. That is a violation of the Constitution. Party government is a violation of the Constitution. Find in the Constitution where it says that we vote for party representatives. We are supposed to have a constitutional republic, not a socialist republic of party government, not a representative republic. A constitutional republic, which means all of the government of officers must adhere to the Constitution and make sure that we, the people, not big business, not the government, we, the people, prosper. The economy is for us as individual citizens, not to be based on economic or business growth. Our government has collapsed. And we, the people, are now in bondage. We're pawns. And it's sort of like we're being entertained, but this is affecting our lives. People are dying. People are suffering. This is no fun entertainment comedy joke. We the people must overthrow our government. The Declaration of Independence orders the overthrow of corrupt government. Orders it. That's why they declared independence. King George was wicked. He was bad. If we're not going to do it, then we deserve the pain and suffering that is caused upon us, our family, our neighbors, and our posterity. If you remain complicit or apathetic, you deserve what the consequences will be. You know, people protested when students in Florida got shot. Women protested with Trump being elected. School teachers in several states protested and were successful in getting raises. Not that great, but you know, they got something, so they stopped. They still need to keep going. You know, Maxine Waters personally went down to the border to stop the busloads of kids being transported throughout the United States, having been separated from their families, from their parents. Where is she now? There's now more kids in camps. You know, they all talk tough. But when it comes right down to it, they've got no game. When they're in a position to do something, they only talk. They don't act. So, nothing's going to get done unless we, the people, stand up and revolt. We must take back our nation and form a new government with freedom and justice for all. And so maybe you're in shock. Maybe you don't understand the seriousness. But it's bad. And it's now on public court official documentation. So, what are you going to do about it now?